So we now quickly move on to the next topic, which is on FGD and emission control. So I invite Mr. Venkatesh Rao, who is the business operations leader on air quality control systems from GE Power India, my ex-colleague. He has been in the business for over 20 years and has authored several papers and presented in different forums. So over to you, Venkatesh. So it will be good, Venkatesh, if you can limit to within 8 to 10 minutes, if possible, so that we
Certainly,
have
I'll
time.
try my best. Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, Venkatesh, yes, we can.
Yeah, I will share my screen. Please let me know
Yes.
if you can see the screen.
Yeah. Just go to the slideshow mode and or the full screen mode. That should be fine.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm Venkatesh Rao from GE Power India Limited. I'll directly jump to the agenda of the presentation. But before getting into the details, first things first, thank you, Mr. Gupta, for giving a prelude on the FGD status in the country. I think we should appreciate what NTPC is doing in cleaning up the entire coal power and making it more sustainable. This is the topic of today's discussion, and I think NTPC is doing a lot when it comes to making coal power more sustainable, greener, and more efficient. In my presentation today, I will very quickly talk about what are the air quality control system solutions GE brings to its customers in India. What are the technologies available? What are our current installations? And a very brief about what the process is. And talking about sustainability, I want to bring to the table a few features which help making the FGD more efficient, reducing power consumption, reducing water consumption, and so on. In GE, we have multiple solutions for controlling air quality being emitted from pollutants being emitted from the coal-fired power plant. So right from pre-combustion, combustion as well as post-combustion NOx control, mercury control, we have also vast experience in particulate control, especially electrostatic precipitators and fabric filters, ESPs being the more used technology in the country. We also have multiple FGD technologies which have been tried and tested to the tune of almost 200 to 250 gigawatt worth of experience coming from various units across GE across the globe. We also have multi-pollutant control wherein using a single equipment, we are able to take care of both particulate as well as FGD related pollution. When it comes to India, we talk about two technologies. There is another third one called seawater FGD, but given the limited number of power plants closer to the sea and the way they have been designed, I think there is very little potential as on today. I think the 2 or 3 units which were capable of having FGDs, seawater FGDs have already ordered. Whereas I will focus on open spray tower and a very different technology called NID, which is a semi-dry FGD technology. On the open spray tower, GE has supplied right up to a 1300 megawatt single unit. But in the Indian context, what it means is it's possible to put together 3 or 4 smaller units and give a single absorber and go right up to 1300 megawatt in a single unit. And we are able to take care of multiple different ranges of sulfur, right from 0.3, 0.4, 0.5% in our conditions, right up to 4.5% sulfur, especially now that we are also talking about potentially imported coal being brought into the country. So some of the dynamics could change, thereby requiring the FGD to be more efficient in terms of SO2 removal. On the semi-dry FGD side, we have offered right up to 700 megawatt single unit and also various small multiple units put together with SO2 removal rates of up to 98%. In India, we typically talk about 90 to 95% removal efficiency requirements. Very highly flexible in terms of fuel, very small footprint, and lower cost as compared to the open spray tower wet FGD technology, but a little higher on the OPEX cost, typically suitable for plants which have very low residual life left, and customers typically want to spend lesser amount of capex before the plants are retired. And it also takes care of other pollutants like sulfur trioxide, HCl, and HF. In India, we are capable of doing EPC projects. We do right from design, engineering, manufacturing, supply, installation, both civil work as well as mechanical and electrical installation, commissioning. And we are also now developing O&M capabilities as we are having more and more installations in the country, as our team is buckling up to take care of all these demand which is coming from the country, which we will see in the next slide. So we are also capable of doing O&M. We have also done O&M in other parts of the world, and we do have that experience to take care of also upgrades and retrofit potentially units which are not functioning to their utmost capability. We also do upgrades and retrofit of these FGD systems. In India today, we have 4 projects installed where the NTPC Vindhyachal has a wet FGD system. We have 3 seawater FGD technologies installed at Tata Power Trombay. This happens to be one of the first seawater FGDs in the world, way back in 1980s. Then we have Ratnagiri, JSW, as well as Mundra. And currently under execution, as we saw in Mr. Gupta's slide, around 12.6 gigawatt worth of projects are currently under execution by GE Power India Limited. 32 absorbers, 17.37 gigawatt. We are also executing a seawater FGD in Bangladesh for a project called Matarbari. And one of the first semi-dry FGD, larger semi-dry FGD installations is under progress in the Aditya aluminum site in Lapanga in Odisha. This is a typical process flow diagram of a wet FGD system, limestone forced oxidation. And I've actually, there are multiple options. This comes from a question before this presentation started from a customer as to whether a GGH is required or not required. What are the pros and cons? While due to limited time, I will not get into the details, but GGH does come with a lot of capex as well as OPEX requirements. And considering the challenges like a lot of dust load potentially, which could come from the ESP in case it is not functioning well, plus the potentially some of the mist carryover as well as gypsum carryover, GGH poses a lot of challenges in terms of operations. While our installation at Vindhyachal is doing fantastically well in terms of SO2 performance, power consumption performance, one small niggle which we have there has been the GGH, which we are now working with NTPC to try and resolve it as soon as possible so that the FGD is able to function at 100% load 365 days of the year. So I will not delve much into the process details. Some of the progress across our projects, you see, I've tried to capture various segments of a typical FGD plant. We have the ball mill building, the absorber itself, the flue gas, the chimney, the wet stack with borosilicate lining inside. On the left, the bottom, we have the absorber, which is completed in one of the projects. Then the electrical building and the chimney under construction with the support beams inside. So a lot of civil work, a lot of construction work involved in these projects. Some of the features to make the FGDs more sustainable, more efficient on performance enhancement plates. A lot of research has been done over many years to identify how the size of the FGD can be reduced, yet achieving the same efficiency. And these are some of the features which we bring into the absorber so that within a smaller absorber, we are able to deliver more in terms of SO2 emission. We also have spray banks, a lot of finite element analysis, different types of analysis has been done to identify what's the right pitching of these nozzles so that we can achieve more out of less. We are also now offering in India some of these projects in NTPC tray design, which helps reduce the the L by G by 25 to 35%, a more technical aspect, but especially suitable for retrofit related applications, existing installations where we want to improve the efficiency. Let's say there is a change in coal, there is a higher sulfur coal. It is possible to upgrade that particular absorber by introducing a tower and improving the efficiency. One key aspect, all this is going to consume power. So while we have multiple solutions, I will just delve on two. The first one being the sulfite analyzer, which helps in auxiliary power reduction of the oxidation blower. Mr. Gupta and team will be able to relate to this. But the idea is, now that we are having almost 70 to 80 gigawatt of FGDs installed, another 100 gigawatt to go, there is going to be a good amount of auxiliary power consumption. So we have solutions to reduce these power consumptions in different areas, whether it is VFD-based pumps. But one of the key features is a sulfite analyzer to reduce the oxidation air requirement, especially when oxidation air is not required in full capacity to run the absorber. We also have a solution, almost around 8 to 9 installations over the last few years, where we call it as a flue gas heat recovery system, where instead of a GGH, we go in for a heat exchanger, a zero leakage heat exchanger, in order to reduce the water consumption into the FGD. So from around 130 to 140 degrees, we first bring down the temperature of the flue gas to 100, and which helps allow to reduce the water required to take the gases to saturation by almost 30 to 40%. So this has worked pretty well in 7 or 8 of our installations globally, and we would like to take this forward over the coming days with NTPC and with other power producers in order to reduce water consumption, which is also one of the key problems which the country is facing. So thank you very much. So this is my presentation in short. I hope I'm on time, and greetings of the season.
Thanks, Venkatesh, and it was really crisp presentation. So we'll come back for QA at the end of the session. And thanks for providing all the insights into the possible solutions. And I think the point of debate would be, how do we, apply more of the solutions considering the Indian conditions and environment? Thank you so much.